Here we go. Let me just see. So this is 236 hours into the game. You can see I like using this whole like central sort of open hub thing. I've got all three of the statues. Very nice. I've got the pretty good pioneering, satisfactory pioneering, adequate pioneering. Very nice. Should get the doggo statue. Where do I begin? Alright, I've got the tower there. It's a little bit further away from the hub than usual. Everything is super spaced out in this build. Show you a bit around here. See how I've got all these tubes going to different places? I should set that up in the current build like that. But I do also have a couple of random tubes. Let's go to the first area here. My pride and joy. This probably took like this part I'm going to show you probably took like 20-30 hours to build. This whole area, this whole wing, I should say, it's like 2 stories high as well. There's like underneath this floor. This is all for turbo motors. Yeah. So you can see 1.9, let's call it 2. 2 times 5, I'm getting 10 per minute. Probably like 9 turbo motors per minute in pocket. And this whole area, like look how I've set it up, sort of back to back. This is all to make the radio control. This makes supercomputers. I've got regular computers getting built here. Some of this is like alternative recipes. All kinds of stuff is getting created here. This is pulling resources from all across the map into this central location. Let's go down here, let me show you lower level. The lower levels, a lot of the support stuff. This is probably what took the longest to build. It's like a sea of constructors just making the sheets, copper sheets. I had to pull 3 nodes together with Mark 3s from across the map. That was a logistical nightmare. This probably took 10 hours itself. What else can I show off? I should probably show off the nuclear factory, nuclear power plant. You can see this one is a lot more organized. I've actually got walls around the factory. I usually build walls, but that's one thing I do recommend. You build with a lot of space in mind. This is like another lower level. You know what I mean? A lot of these areas were rebuilt. This whole central hub area got rebuilt multiple times. You know what I mean? That's why there's a lot of space. There's a lot of unused space. This is something I like doing as well. This whole section here, this little quarter, it's all for bioprocessing. What I do is like, let me get us. See, I utilize these, the programmable splitters, and I've got like, you know what I mean, different things getting shifted off into different directions, and then that way, all the bio stuff, you know what I mean? Like I go out, chop some wood, I've got leaves, flowers, all kinds of stuff on me. I just put it into one box and it, you know what I mean? It filters it all through where it needs to go. Like here, I've got the mask production. I don't think I've got any made right now. It's all going into making the this stuff, the iodine infused filters. Once that all builds up, it'll start making gas filters again. But you know what I mean? I've got all these little things automated. What else I can show off? I've obviously got all kinds of war production happening here, like and the stuff that blows up, the nobelisks. Let me give you a more bird's eye view of this massive factory. Oh, no, not like this, not like this! Man, we almost fully died there. I should equip the jetpack. Let's try that again. This is always tricky. I don't know, they need to make this radio tower more traversable. See how long that save took? That's with an N.2 drive as well. That gets annoying. You build such big things that like the save itself takes ages. Like a good couple of seconds. What are we, trapped now? There we go. And the final leg. Alright, so this sort of gives a bird's eye view of the whole factory. So that's this whole wing. That's just for the turbo motors themselves. The other ones are sort of not really specified, but like you can see I've got a lot of roof space, which I just used for the refining. Originally, I built like my oil pumps and pumped all my oil to this area and had it all processing in this area. Now I've got like a whole, on the other side of this mountain range, I've got like rubber and plastic getting all produced and brought over by train. What else we have? We've got like a bit of coal. Coal gets mined here and processed here. I mean, it's a lot more spaced out. Everything is super spaced out. Here we've got more coal stuff, I think. This originally I had SATAs and steel getting all produced here. This section of the factory is very obsolete. That's why I haven't built a roof on it. I don't really visit it much. We've got another section here. You know what I mean? Like everything's done by conduits. That whole factory in the distance, that's all obsolete. I used to have the coal generators all there. What else can I show off? Let me show you the train station. It's a lot bigger. A lot bigger. In fact, we need to take a hypertube just to get to the train station section of the main building. Shit, I forgot which one's which. I think it's the central one. So, yeah. It's just so vast. I mean, you're sort of seeing some of the factory here now. But here we are. This is like just a train station. 8 long, 8 long. I think they're all single. Yeah, I remembered like I don't really use more than one. What do you call it? Now, what do you call these things? Locomotive. See what I mean? I'm not even utilizing the whole line yet, but think big. Think big. I usually like to have like a central sort of basically train station with like 2 or 4 different lines coming in all into one central point. Let's take this train out and I'll show you the oil fields. Gonna do its thing. They're just all topping up. Everything is mathematically fine-tuned, you know what I mean? Over here to the right, that's all just like copper processing. And that all feeds, you know what I mean? This is logistically, it's all very interconnected. See, I utilize sort of like these sky roof, I don't know what you call them, conduits. This is something I haven't used in the build as well, like the half pipe tunnel. I do like using the half pipe tunnel ever since it came into Satisfactory, especially for like your train tunnel. Kind of makes it look cool. But yeah, this used to go up and above the hill, but I kind of don't want. It just kind of looks weird to me, so I rebuilt it so it goes around. Like in this build, I'm trying to make everything look nice now, like putting walls on everything. Anything that's free floating needs like some kind of support, like so the physics of it makes sense. Basically, I don't want anything to like. You kind of look at it and I'm like, you don't want to think like, oh, why is that just floating in midair? Nothing like that should be around. The thing you see in the background there, that's just for a truck, so I could drive the truck out and explore with it. I used to try to go through this valley, but it sort of doesn't go anywhere. So now we're going to come up to the oil outpost. Back there, see down there, that's my original oil field, and I pumped it all the way back. I built these 2 long pipes all the way back to the base, but it's not very efficient. This is the oil base. What do you call it? See how long that save takes? It's a good 10 seconds, and I'm talking on an N.2 drive. That's how much shit is in this game right now. Again, like, I like putting everything in the ceiling like this. That's very common in my builds. And I usually put, like, doorways so it doesn't look like it's just floating like that, but kind of deleted them. I wasn't sure where the final part's going to be, so down here you see that's where the oil is coming from, and it gets pumped up to this level, and all the refineries are on this level. We've got some more over here, and the big juicy nodes are back there. So these only take like maybe 4. We've got 2 here, but on the other side there we've got like 4. This is like 8 just for one. Yeah, that's the oil field. Let me show off the nuclear. Let me show off the nuclear plant. I think Dumpty, you'd want to see this. This is a good way of building like that. That's not going to damage you when it spits you out. Again, I want to finish the walls here, have all this enclosed in. Try to, like, once I've got an idea for how much space something's going to take in a build, then I start adding walls in. Like in this latest build you see me do on stream, you don't see me put any walls in. It's kind of like I don't want to bore people with making walls. You could spend like hours just, you know what I mean, sitting there and putting walls in. I don't want to be boring for the stream, so I try not to do too much of that. Same with foundations, like it's just a bothersome part of the game. As you can see, that's the original line of oil. This is sort of how I did it. I hope that makes sense. See, I used the doorway, and then so I could still walk through, and it's all sort of on one level. That's that. Sort of slows down here a little bit. But yeah, like, generally speaking, I feel like in this build, like, I don't really have any slow hypertubes. I don't understand why I've got such slow hypertubes in the other build. Like these go like vast distances in less time. Here we are going through the tunnel. I will say one thing, building hypertubes next to like the wall like this can get very nauseating. And building the hypertube on the ceiling level, so like it to me this gives me nausea. Like, see how we see the floor tiles constantly hitting us? It's like as if they're hitting us in the face. To me that's super nauseating. Like that. If I keep going down that line up and down, I start getting sick, honestly. Let's show off the nuclear. But I want to grab some filters because I don't want to die when we're there. Perfect. Should be enough. And I believe it's the left tube here. Yeah, I forget which tube goes where. It used to be that I did my bauxite processing there. That's what the water tubes are there from. But eventually I built its own outpost to do it. And then just I train it back in. So this is a bit of the dune part of the map. This is on totally the opposite side of the map to where we're building now. It's a different starting location. I kind of like the whole dune sea aesthetic. I like... Kind of reminds me of Australia, to be honest, like the outback. Whereas the other side of the map, where we are now, it's kind of reminds me of where I was born. In Europe. Obsolete train lines. Here is something very... I don't know if I'm happy with it. We've got two train lines like right next to each other. I think they're a bit too close, to be honest. I'll show you. So what we spent building today, I've got like a bigger version down here. See all this. I'm kind of proud of how I did this build, like on multiple different levels. Inside this one massive factory. I like how I've got the windows. I thought I had windows on the other side as well. This biome is interesting. But yeah, this is all perfectly balanced. This is eventually what we started today will look like. You can see all the solution goes into these. And then finally it all gets turned into the plates. Over here. And then I think there's another row on that side. Nah, it's all on this side. So you see, what originally starts off as like multiple refineries. I think this is like, so we've got 6 right now. Pretty much half of what this build is. And then we've got, that goes into 4, 5, 6, 7 of the assemblers. That's probably what we're gonna end up with. Maybe even bigger. But yeah, I just wanted to show off this. Upstairs. Whoa, shit. I didn't mean to fall through like that. Go back upstairs and I'll show off the nuclear. As you could see, the nuclear just off in the distance there. Let's get the suit on so we don't get rad damage. Oh, whoops, no, wrong hypertube. This tube. As you can see, everything's super spaced out, but I feel like in my current, like the stream build, it's even more spaced out. A lot of this is still connected by conduits rather than trains. But yeah, 4-core reactor. It's very small, to be honest. But that's... Let me get to it. Bit of rad poisoning. I think they increased the radiation area of effect before I built this. That's why the tube sort of runs too close. If you don't have the suit on, it's not good for your health. But essentially, this is sort of like what uranium processing looks like. Feeds straight into these. These take sulfuric acid, and they get turned into pellets. Pellets then get fed into here. This is what we're gonna have to be building in the next stream, basically. Made into cells. What do we need for that? Concrete and the pellets. Yeah, this is gonna be a hard process, to be honest. We need to find a source of water. I think I was gonna split the whole factory into 2 different parts, but it looks like it's all gonna have to be done sort of on site with uranium getting delivered to it. Once pellets are made, they get turned into rods. Sorry, let's go back a step. Once you make the uranium cell, here we've got plenty in there. Let me jump up here. You also need to make these control rods, electromagnetic control rods, and then the rods and the cells, along with more encased steel, gets made into your nuclear fuel rod. Once you have all that, that is then fed into your reactors. Now I think I'm gonna go with a build 3 times as big as this for the one we're doing in the stream. I didn't really plan this out very well because yeah, the reactors, one reactor takes 300 water a second. That's 300 cubic meters of water per minute, which is like more than 2 of those. You know what I mean? But I've got, for some reason I've only got 2 right now connected, each 2 of them, and it seems to do the job. I don't know if it's accurate. I don't know if it's 300. I gotta look that up on the wiki actually, because it says 300 per minute consumption of water, but I don't think it really is that. Something's not right about that. I've got heaps of nuclear waste. This is, you could see, like, this is why I didn't want to start too many reactors and build too many reactors, because of the waste. Like, I've only produced this much waste. In a previous build, I think it used to produce way more waste. But yeah, as you can see, 14.5 gigawatts of power getting produced here. And that's not only these, because this is only doing 10. They do 2.5 gigawatt each, I believe. There we go, yeah, it says it right there. I've also got like my old fuel thingy as well, what do you call it? The fuel genny's still going. Maybe I'll go and show you that off now. Just so everyone can get like an idea of what it looks like. How far away is the train? It's almost back. That's cool. You can see, like, yeah, a lot of radiation in this area. Very harmful to your health. I think they, like, originally when I built this line, like, you could stand on the other side and not get affected by radiation. I think they've beefed up how much the area of effect is. Yeah, you can see that when I build train stations, usually I build a lot. Like, I think this is 6 carriages. And I do utilize the 2 locomotives. Let's jump in so we don't get hit by radiation anymore. I usually just build a lot, not having planned out for half of what I'm going to use it for, and then later on I end up using it for something. It's better than after the fact trying to extend a train station. That can be bothersome. So a lot of this, what this train does is brings in material for this nuclear processing center. It's really a lot of what's happening here. Before I had the nuclear plant, and before I even needed so much power, I built a massive fuel genny sort of place. I recommend doing this. As soon as you hit fuel generation, find yourself a good couple of nodes. I think this is about 4 nodes. Don't worry about building plastic or rubber. Just do fuel. So you can see how many fuel generators I've got here. Quite a few. You know what I mean? And then sort of the left side here is all just materials for the nuclear place. essentially, it's a lot of steel that's getting transported here. Yeah, this is all above a nice lake as well. I think this is where we got our plastics and computer factory in the other build. I don't know. Yeah, this is that same lake that you see me build the computer factory above. So in this case, I've come in from the other side, from the north, and just built like a massive fuel. It's all fuel, and then whatever resources are in that area get transported to make nuclear material in this area. I try to keep all the nuclear stuff sort of isolated from the rest of it. Here we are. Nice clean turn there. Yeah. Lots of radiation. I really want to keep the. You don't want to accidentally walk into any radiation. That's the thing. So that's something I'm gonna need to plan out in the next build. In the next stream, we're gonna start building the filters. So we got a lot of filters, and as you can see, like you can only have the hazmat suit on. You can't put the. You only got one body slot. They still haven't changed that. I wish. You know, they could give you two, so you can wear the suit. You should really have, you know what I mean? Like if you're wearing something on your legs, why can't you wear something on your face as well? Like for example, the gas filter. Or let me have some super endgame item, which is like a combination of the three or something, like a jetpack, suit. You know what I mean? Something like that. That's really most of the build right there. We're in this sort of area here. Got the nuclear power plant there. A lot of the material and energy generation is in this lake where the computer factory is in the other build. We got the oil fields on the left here, and then yeah, everything else is sort of done within the Dune Sea. There's a couple of iron nodes around as well, which I still haven't fully utilized. But essentially, at this point in the game, I'm just putting walls, making everything look aesthetically nice. I'm still exploring a lot of the map, so you can see, like, again, I've only explored maybe 50-60% of the map here. Probably like 60% here. So, but what you saw me do in the last play session is sort of like start using those radio towers. As soon as we hit a really high spot in the game, just chuck a radio tower down, let that run. That's another way of sort of helping you explore and getting rid of the black on the map here. Yeah, that's the build there. Very proud of it. This is 237 hours, I think. You can see the main central point. It's a very vast factory. You need hypertubes just to get around this factory. But everything is nicely sort of kept inside of roof spaces. Like you can easily walk around it. It just takes you a while. You know what I mean? Like everything's up in the roof like that, nicely. Everything's sort of spaced out. That's something I would definitely recommend. Sort of my little hub area here. Got a truck here, which I take the truck, I can drive it around, and I usually take the truck for some reason, not the Explorer. I should start using the Explorer. But I like carrying a lot of cement in the truck in case I need to build new pathways, new roads. That's one way of doing it. I'll just show off the big conduit here. You can see the heart of the base. This is sort of like an artery right here. 3 levels of just what do we call them? Conveyor belts, just running straight through, feeding this whole beast So that this is sort of the plan for what I plan to do. Let me get the light on. This is sort of the plan for the end game. Once I get nuclear power up and running, I'm gonna be building something that like this. It produces basically, I might even go 6. We get a good 10 plus turbo motors per minute. Gonna be a challenge. But here I've just got the 5 manufacturers. Let me get a better calculation here for you guys. 1.9 times 5. 9.5. 9.5 turbo motors a minute. And then I've obviously got, like, as we walk through here, notice everything's up above in the ceiling. Very, very spaced out sort of factory. It's kind of what you want. I highly recommend doing this sort of like back to back with these machines, with these sort of toll structures in between to feed it all. And then you can sort of save space doing that. I've got to finish that back wall as well. There's a lot of walls that need to be finished here. Yeah, that's sort of like just a quick tour. We've got the elevator in the middle there. But yeah, this is what peak performance looks like. Hope everyone had a good stream. I had fun. I'm gonna save it here. Yeah, 237 hours. This whole thing is. Yeah, we'll you know what I mean? We're not even half of that in the stream. But we'll get there eventually. You know what I mean? Like, end game is 80 hours to get to the end game. And then you can actually play the game, as I like to say. Thanks everyone for coming out and having a look. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And peace out.